Welcome back to Roadside Nuggets, everybody. We are here on October 11th, Master Number Day. Hope everyone is pushing, giving the biggest push that they can get mustered out. Everybody is going through it. We're not exempt. The team here has been going through a lot of stuff today. It's been really, really transformative and awesome. Keynotes, just to really focus on here, people, is, again, as we stated yesterday, to be as stable and as grounded as possible. We're not denying that there's a lot of emotions and things coming up to the surface. We're not denying that it's going to get a little hairy, definitely a lot of heat coming in, but still, the main goal is to stay stable and as present as possible, even though that experience is going on. Why? This is how we navigate through the experience. This is how we save ourselves from getting stuck on the broken record and getting on loops, going around and around the same redundant thing, and we just do the breakthrough. Right? We finally get to release, cut cords with it, completely let it go. And we move together into a whole nother idea and a solution, right? That's agreed upon and is felt within everyone, right? So this moving forward, the way forward is, applying this in a lot of ways with other people, but yes, with yourself first. Being able to even admit to yourself, like, okay, things are going on, getting a little crazy here, definitely need to have a breather, need to slow it down, and then being able to do that in a group environment with other people, it's a blessing. It's really inspiring and it's really awesome just to experience. But so basically, we're all aware of like the Mercury Retrograde going on right now. We just had the 9/9 portal a while ago. We had the 10/10 portal yesterday. We had the new moon like 3 or 4 days ago. We had the equinox that was about like a week or 2 weeks ago, or a week ago. There's so many different like literally energy is coming in fast, back to back to back, right? And it's not really letting up on any of us. We are steamboating into Scorpio season, of course. That's in a matter of like less than 2 weeks now. And that whole cycle process is a very big collective process that we all definitely need to go through every year. And some of us have the opportunity of going through that more rapidly. But this process is very important. And this is why things really look like shit right now, to be honest, to be frank. This is why everything looks so chaotic and crazy and just everyone looks like they're going insane. This is why we have to bring all the crap to the surface, what has to go, what needs to die within ourselves, within this collective dysfunction that we are all supporting and maintaining here on this planet. What needs to be looked at very clearly, and it needs to die now to make room for a higher love to come in. For all of us individually and both collectively for all of us together, right? And so your perspective, okay, your reasoning, your logic, your judgment, your belief systems, everything needs to be evaluated in yourself. How we get started with this, get a paper, get a pen or pencil, write it down, okay? If you do not have someone physically to bounce this energy off of, to interact with, to talk, someone who is observant, they can clearly, observe you in your experience and they can give you, guidance or feedback like, hey, I noticed this, when you were expressing this, I saw the trigger, and sometimes we're moving so fast through our day or sometimes we're moving so fast through the experience of what's going on, what we're saying, we're not even slowing down and registering what's going on inside our own body as we are speaking it, as we are doing it, right? And this is a big disconnect. This is where we are unplugged from ourselves. And we are missing big window. There's window gaps that we can't see. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. We don't understand really how this chaos is manifesting for us. What we're doing to cause it. And this is why, because we're so completely unaware. And it really a lot of times you won't know the full totality of it, full answer, the whole truth about it, until you actually start applying in like little baby steps. So that means i.e. like writing on a piece of paper. That includes talking to someone in person, like physically moving your vocal cords and saying the things that are bothering you inside, right? And a lot of times as you say it, this is the magical thing that occurs, right? When you finally choose to express, when you finally choose to say it and get it out, a magical thing occurs, right? a lot of times we figure it out as we're speaking it. A lot of times we figure it out as you are writing it down on a piece of paper. And it's that simple. That's how quick it can all really hit you, right? And this is it's such a resistance for the ego in us, is to apply these very basic, simple practices. They're very easy. They don't take a whole lot of time. And all you really do is just got to do it and then see what happens, the experience, right? We have sold ourselves into believing that everything in life, I have no idea why Instagram's screen keeps dimming. It's live, but it's dimming. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Give me 1 second, folks. Before I go forward to this, I want to check Instagram and just make sure this thing is not going crazy. Got people on. It says alive. Is there something I need to do with the screen? I don't know. Brightness all the way up. Okay. I don't know. Hey, but I get to comment back on this. All right, moving forward. Angels. We were on... Okay, so when you're expressing, when you're writing things down, when you're saying it out loud, when you're sharing it, a lot of times what's delaying that, what's keeping us from expressing that or even admitting it to ourselves is because we don't fully know about it yet. It's still very uncertain. It's still very uncomfortable to accept, or we're very doubtful about it. We don't trust it. We have no faith, right? And so until we see the physical proof or someone says it out loud or puts it right in front of our face, we don't really know what to do with it. So we just got to put it over here in this miscellaneous box, and it just sits there, right? And all that in that miscellaneous box, you can sort through that right now, and I promise you, so many awarenesses will come to you if you just start getting it out, right? Quit leaving it in here, okay? Quit using this as a drawer cabinet to store all the shit in, okay? Get it out completely. Put it on a piece of paper, say it with your words, express it somehow, showing creation and God and yourself in real time. You accept this, you acknowledge this, you are moving through this, right? Until you meet those markers, you can't complain about the experience not moving forward or the experience healing or getting better because you're not doing anything. I really want to shatter this belief system a lot of people have, and it's a generational cycle thing. It keeps going through the generation, because of, religion. Thank you, Mom. And, this whole praying thing, okay? Let me clarify this thing about prayer, okay? I've said this before. So prayer is not meant to be your 911 call to God, okay? By the time you get on your knees and you put your hands together and you're praying to God, God is already aware, has already been aware since the very moment it happened about your troubles, your issues, your drama, whatever it is you're complaining about, every single thing. God's already aware, right? So you can imagine, right? Like, say you go to your mom, your mom, and it's your mom's already aware of everything you're gonna say. Everything that comes out of your mouth, she already knows what you're going to say. She already knows how you're going to act, everything, right? So you can imagine what a waste of time this is. To waste your moments that you don't really give yourself with God very often. Be honest, right? It's the truth. You don't really give yourself moments with God very often. And it's not very often, it's every day either, right? So if it's already a limited time and you already don't really pick up that phone to God very often, the moments you do finally pick up the phone and call God, we choose to use those moments that are so limited that we don't allow very often. We choose to use those moments for bullshit, to fill God's ear with complaining, with sorrows, with misery, with things we're upset about, things we're mad about, things we're blaming God for, things we want to control but we can't, just throwing a big old hissy fit, a tantrum, right? This is what we're using in a lot of moments our prayers for. Prayers are not meant for that, right? They are powerful tools of healing and transformation and connection to source. And by aligning yourself with the energy in right action, you can manifest amazing things. Prayer is meant to be for gratitude, for love, wishing love for all creation, praying for grace and gratitude and just love and beauty pour into this world. You use your prayers for the greater good. And that is not what humanity has used our prayers for. This divine ability, this divine gift that we have, which is prayer, we use it so horribly, and we don't use it a lot of times in the right moments either, right? Prayer is about amplifying and building and growing and connecting and expanding and reaching everyone and everything. That's what prayer is for. It's not meant to be this complaining card you give to God about all these things you're upset about. That's not what we use prayer for, right? And this is where your focus is so flipped backwards, where humanity is focused so much more on their self-obsession and what they want, what they think they need, and what they're seeking in life without really knowing what's going on in the first place. It's like you get into a whole, anyone ever played a game before? You never read any of the manual and don't know the instructions, don't know what the game's about, the theme or anything like that. You just get on the game and you start roaming around, doing things, right? Completely pointless. You'll be there all year on level 1 of that game by just going off doing your own thing in the game world, just, completely just like, entertaining yourself, not connected to anything else going on. I know it's a funny analogy, just bear with me. And, this is the point, right? Because there's a path. Thank you, angels. There's a path. And this is how you get from one level to the next level to the next level, get to the boss level, all that in the game. There's a path. There's a direction, right? There's a storyline that we follow through. And that is the experience and the journey. But when we are just completely self-important, only focused about ourselves, only worried about ourselves, we are missing the directions, people. You're not seeing the signs. You're not getting the heart pings from the angels and God. You're not feeling into what's going on or what you need to do in that moment that's highest versus what you want to do out of ego, out of what you think you should do, thinking you know better, right? And this is where people are just like off in the bushes. Where is everybody at? They're off in the bushes. They're in the trees. They are, I don't know, are they sleeping? It's like, that's what they're doing. It's like, hello, people, we got a whole event right here. Everyone should be in attendance, So, this is the importance of the energy now that's coming into view for us all. I have no idea why that's happening. Okay, Instagram's going to be dumb, so I'm going to pull this in closer because it looks like I have to keep touching the screen to keep the screen on, which that's just ridiculous. But we're going to bear with it today. It didn't do that yesterday. I don't know why it's like that. Anyways, so I have a really cool video I want to show everybody. And then we're going to continue the conversation afterwards. So this is really cool. So apparently this is a guy that he worked in the military back in the late 90s when he was fired. And he worked on a lot of, he had information on a lot of projects, military projects. One of them, namely wow, I just forgot. The Seeing Glass Project, whatever that stupid thing. What? Looking Glass. Thank you, angels. Looking Glass Project. It was trying to escape me. So the Looking Glass Project, this guy had a lot of information about it, basically. And he was sharing how the Looking Glass works, in a lot of ways, how to understand the Looking Glass. And it works off string theory and is how possibilities align based off choice. And how every choice can dictate a different, even though past and future are illusion, and past and future do not exist, which is actually, he said this important part towards the end of the video when he talked about the future history, right? If we reference history as being behind us in the past, but he is talking about future history, he's basically telling you in so many words that it's all circle. The future is the past. It is the history, because we're always in the present moment. The present moment, where you are right now, where we are talking to each other, we are listening, and we're right here physically, you can touch yourself. This is the only real moment right now. Into where what we think the past and the future are, those are constantly reoccurring in this moment now. It's the only one that exists. And so this is something that he expressed that I felt was a really valid point to make. But yeah, give me 1 second and we will get this going. All right, here we go.
One of the caveats that I do have some personal information that I did get personally involved in was some information that had to do with the Stargates and Looking Glass, and more specifically the 2012 problem with those projects. The popular opinion of what's out there right now is that the project was shut down because there was a problem when we approached 2012. I've heard it described a number of ways, but to my knowledge, the problem is that the timelines converge on that point in time. And when you know enough about the Stargate projects and the Looking Glass project to know how string theory works and how the possibility of possibilities works, and how making one choice over here doesn't necessarily mean that the other choice couldn't exist at the same time. But once you get your brain wrapped around this subject, you find out that at the end of 2012, in an easy way to put it, the choices that we make become less and less consequential to the future. And eventually we're pushed into this bottleneck of time, no matter which choice we make. And that's important to the people that had access to Looking Glass, because they would use Looking Glass knowing the choices that they would make, and the future would pop up. The big mistake was coming up with the possibility of future. And when we started using a computer to say, well, if we make this choice, it's 79% possible that this scenario happens, and 23% are possible, or whatever, using round numbers, that this scenario would happen. The understanding at the time was that was realistic. However, if you go down the road further and free will continues to exercise itself on this game, that 79% possibility sometimes changes very, very fast. But if you look at the situation in a point of time, it seems very realistic that that's the greatest possibility. What happened was people, very smart people, began to figure out that something big was coming up. Something that made it so all the possibilities of all the future scenarios of any choice, any possibility that was fed in and observed through the Looking Glass inherently ended up in the same future. And no decision, no possibility changed past a certain point. That's the big secret. All possible timelines lead to the same basic set of history in the future. That is what sends everybody that has all of the information, that knows everything, into a blind panic. The people that know everything about Looking Glass, that have gotten all the reports and all the information, the elites of the world, probably figured out that that was the end of the game. And nothing could be manipulated beyond that point. When I was in the military, it would have been before 97 when I got in trouble. One of my particular areas that I was amazingly intuitive about is problem solving / mission planning, or more specifically, taking a bad mission and fixing it. Certainly, knowing how string theory and possible futures works makes it so you can work your mind very quickly to see the reality of what's happening and decide what decisions need to be made to change it for a particular outcome. At a certain point, after they're done hearing the computer tell them, this is what's going to happen, over and over and over and over again, all they become focused on is, how do we fix it? What I do know is that I was called in and asked to solve this problem, this timeline contraction problem. And I eventually did my due diligence and did all the investigating, and basically only had one piece of information, and that was reinforcement. The computer's right. The timelines will contract down to some inevitable thing. There is an inevitable event. It's been forecast, it's been predicted, it's been fed to us in a slop trough of what they want us to believe will happen. They don't actually have control over what happens. They only have control over the reaction, and it seems that no matter what they try to do to cause their desired reaction, it's going to have an opposite effect. Much, much easier for me to explain today what that process is as opposed to back then. If I had to give it a name, I would say it's the awakening process. It's an evolution of consciousness that cannot, will not, and no matter what decisions or possibilities are injected into the equation, eventually it all resolves down to us all learning the truth and becoming aware of this massive dam of lies that has been built that keep us from knowing massive volume of information that we should otherwise possess. Essentially what happened with Looking Glass, not only did they not want people to use it anymore because they knew it was just going to burp out the same thing, but at the same time they didn't want anybody else to know what it was saying. I'm sure. Because that information was a monumental concern when I was in the military about how to prevent this inevitability. Now, at first I thought it was end of the world. Now I see end of the world as end of their world. The biggest cherry on top of all this conversation would be a synopsis to say that if I could convince everybody out there that, for all intents and purposes, what we believe to be true eventually becomes true. If somebody convinces us that a major disaster is going to happen in the very near future, a major disaster happens in the very near future. If we don't buy into that fear and accept that there's really nothing that we know is going to happen, and accept of whatever happens, that makes the convergence of the timelines happen as naturally as possible. Any attempts to try to go away from this one inevitable conclusion, I again see as a new beginning, an end of this reality, the beginning of something that we can't even possibly understand based on the level of our beliefs currently. But when all that information comes flooding out, there's going to be no denying what's true and what's a lie or what's illusion. Basically what we're experiencing right now is two master chess players sitting at the board. And one of them looks down at the board and sees that he's in checkmate in 7 moves. And he looks across at his opponent, and he knows that his opponent sees it too. So there's no getting out of it. So at this point, the loser can only prolong the game. Both players know the game is over. It's only a matter of time before he does this, and then you're forced to do this, and then he's forced to do this, and eventually checkmate. We, as a race, if we could understand that the game is over, that based on the rules of the game, the bad guys have already lost, the good guys have already won. Yes, there's moves left on the table, but those moves are being forced by the player that is going to win. The only way that checkmate can't happen is if the player that's winning makes a mistake. But from all of the information that I've gathered, all of the information that's been given, all of the information that's been vetted to me, it seems pretty obvious that the good guy player on the side of the chessboard knows exactly what has to be done to win the game. And so, at this point, any mistake would be all but impossible. But again, you really have to understand the game to know that the guy that's losing is lost. And I'm sure most people sitting watching a chess match between two advanced chess players know the game's over long after the two players know it's over.
I like it. It's very
Because
clear.
they can't see the board and see that there's only 7 moves left.
Yeah, man. I love that. Oops. No commercials, please. Love that video. Anytime someone can explain a big concept like that and just break it down in some nice, clear, crystal clean words so everyone can grasp it, it's beautiful. It's an art. And I'm very grateful for people who do that. And, you know, definitely let's talk about it. There's a lot of interesting facts in there that you shared. And first and foremost, definitely like the analogy made about the game board. Mom talked about the chessboard a lot of times. You know, her board were all her pieces. She's moving everyone around. She knows exactly where the pieces are on her board. She knows when to move each piece at what time, you know, and she's got it all covered, you know, and I just really like that. I appreciate that analogy you made, you know, where, you know, if you're on the board, which we all are, you know, you can't see the board, we're on it, you know, so we're not the ones moving the pieces. And therefore, we're not aware of where the rest of the pieces are and what is transpiring across, right? So this is where we have to trust, let go, have faith, allow and embrace whatever, whenever it happens. Because if it's happening because God is letting it happen, which means it's highest to experience it, right? So, you know, and definitely with the, you know, the person on the other side of the board, you know, the loser's already lost. And definitely with chess, you know, this is a really awesome, you know, just picture to have for the ego, you know, because the ego knows it's been in checkmate. The ego has known it's been in checkmate for a long, long time. But the ego is trying to pretend. It's playing this game that it still has a move left somewhere. It still has an option, you know, we don't, you know, but that's where, you know, in chess, you know, you got seven spaces you can move around in, but the overall game is already over. You've already lost. God has already won, but in your delusion and lack of surrender, your resistance, the ego, it wants to still think that it has another move up its sleeve, right? And this is what we're watching the collective, and also with the cabal, you know, the government and everything coming out, all these pedos and just all kinds of things. You know, the ego is still trying to run. It's still trying to hide. It still thinks it can find a way out. It can throw some, you know, flash shiny factors out, you know, in your face, and then you get distracted and it's trying to escape out the exit. You know, it's like, no. Everything has been locked down on this planet. Every single little thing. And I really, you know, definitely how he expressed with, you know, like 10 years ago. If he tried to share this information 10 years ago with people, they would not accept it. They would not be happy with him. He would not be the favorite person in the room, and he would probably be ridiculed, criticized, like the rest of us are. Whistleblowers and conspiracy theorists and all kinds of different labels and things they throw at people who are actually just choosing to be real and speak truth. They have balls. Just everybody else is too afraid of the truth, so they can't accept it. So that person is evil. They're a bad person. And so he shared, he couldn't do this 10 years ago. And I don't even know when this video was posted, so it could have been longer than 10 years ago. But for a lot of us who have been awake for a long moment, we can resonate with that. It's been a journey, and we've had to keep our mouth shut in a lot of ways for a lot of reasons that just people would just think we were crazy. That would be like the quickest trip to the crazy hospital at that point. So but basically now expressing with this how the string theory and possibilities work, and how where it was set before, how they were using this device before in manipulation and being able to dictate it in a way, make a choice and see what the choice adds up to. And they were playing around with the timelines and how it was connecting different timelines, different realities that were taking place, right? This is what the ego was trying to do, was move through the different timelines and cause all kinds of havoc and chaos, keeping the timeline separate. Okay? So now he is sharing with you in the video also that we have gotten to a point on this planet where the energy on this planet has changed so much, and the consciousness on this planet has evolved so much, that the way the timelines themselves work have changed, meaning the reality. And this is a guy talking about like military project. The military, the government, they already know this stuff. They've already studied it. They've researched it. They've spent billions and trillions of dollars on it. They've applied so many things over decades. This has been fully vetted through and fully walked through by many, many different people. So it's time for everybody else to catch up. Okay. Yes, there are devices that tamper with our human reality, tamper with the timelines. Human consciousness infects everybody on this planet in a lot of different ways. Even makes people sick and die. A lot of different ways, right? They've been doing a lot of things behind the scenes, which we're all aware of, and it's coming to the surface. But how this device worked and how it was working with the timelines. And he's sharing with you that at some point the energies on the planet shifted to where the timelines were multiple, now it's just one. Sharing with you that no matter what you choose now, whereas before there was a little leeway, there was different options in the timelines that we would go through, right? Mom has shared many different times through the last couple of years, and she always talked about the highest timeline. She always talked about her timeline is the only real true timeline. There is no other timeline. She dissolved them, right? And she'd been stating this for years and years, and now we're getting to the point where it's like, yes, she changed it completely. There is no more separate timelines. There is now one timeline, and the timeline has been decided by God and already set. Therefore, no matter what anyone's choices on this planet, they cannot delay the ascension process. The highest timeline, 5D, New Earth, love everywhere present, where Mom and everybody, we're all moving that direction. Now nothing, no choice that anyone does, even if they're in opposition to humanity themselves, the cabal, the dark, whoever you want to call it, the ego itself. Nothing now can be chosen or done that will throw this timeline off its course. We are fully set in for the full ride, okay? And so this is really important because this is where humanity is a lot of times in our thought process, still thinking we have a lot of our own free will. Free choice. But if you don't, and in a way, it is a multidimensional perspective, right? Because if God doesn't want you to make a choice, if you're not going to be allowed to make a choice because, the timeline is set. So the experiences coming now are going to compress and push you along in the direction God is nudging you in, which truly is everything you have asked for. It's everything your soul has asked for. It's everything that you came here physically to be incarnated for and to do. So by no means, in no way, shape, or form, is God or anybody in creation forcing you to do something you don't want to do. It's just what your ego thinks because it's inconvenienced now. Now it's uncomfortable. Now it's unsatisfied. right? And the ego seeks to be, self-fulfilled all the time through that. Satisfaction, instant gratification, all kinds of things. Right? So now that we are in the space where these are getting triggered, right? The ego wants you to, bypass. It wants you to escape, avoid, numb, deny, all kinds of different things where the energies are simply not going to allow this anymore. We are manifesting the experiences that are meant to be our catalyst, yes, but it's meant to wake you up. And you waking up is not you coming, face first into, a sea of chaos and just fear and anxiety and paranoia. That's not, like, has anyone been woken up by someone before? Like, you would like someone to wake you up nicely, right? And we've had moments for that, to have the nice, gentle, roll. Hey, wake up. Hey, you're still sleeping? Like, we've had that little soft nudge, the coaxing. We had it for a while, right? Now it's like getting the sheets ripped off you. It's like, hey, wake up. Let's go. We got stuff to do. Come on. Let's go. Bell, ding, 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 ding. Let's go. That's the wake up call now. And it's loud. It's like, whoa. The ego is just like pissed off. And people are like, what's going on? Like they have been hiding themselves in their hands the whole time. They haven't picked their head up one time to look and say, oh, everything has changed. Whoa, what is that? They're gonna be completely caught unaware. This is, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like self-imposed gaslighting. It's like, it's coming, and you could have had this awareness, but instead you chose to deny it. So therefore, the experience is still gonna happen, and in that point, you're gonna realize it too late. So it's gonna be like, whoa, like in your face. Same way as gaslighting, but it's kind of like you're self-imposing it onto yourself by allowing yourself to be unaware, by allowing yourself to be numb, non-feeling, not connected in any way. You are allowing the energies to get so close in your space before you realize it that it's going to feel like a hit every time to you, right? And that can push you into victim consciousness. It can push you into, paranoia or just like fear, and just like too timid to really make a choice or to move forward. But we got to get through those lessons. We got to accept that we're there. We got to accept that these are something to work on. And again, this is something you apply. This is not something you write on the board and like, I got to work on this. And then you go through the whole week worried about work and everybody else under the sun. And you never went back to this board that you wrote on Monday, and it's Sunday now, of all the different points that you need to focus on in yourself. And you could have moved through this week, but you chose to externalize and focus on everything else, right? For whatever reason, the angels wanted me to share it like that. So maybe there's a lot of people out there struggling with this one concept of, choosing, well, do I need to focus on work and everything like that? Is that more important? Or do I need to focus on myself? What is important? What are you basing your importance off of? Who taught you the value of your importance in the first place? Who taught you what to put where, and this is this much to you, and this means this much, or this is this important to you, or this is priority for you, and this is not a priority? Well, who did all that evaluation? Did someone do it for you and give it to you? Or did you do it in unconsciousness in a very speedy, rash kind of way just to get through it because you didn't have time to be patient or, nurturing, compassionate with yourself? And so you gave yourself a bunch of crap, and now we're complaining about the results we're getting. With the same crap we keep feeding into, the system, like, hey, this is not working. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. Are you doing what you're supposed to do? That's the next question. Right? We have externalized so much where we expect so much to come from outside of ourselves in to fix the solution, when actually it's self-implied. You apply it within yourself of your own choice, for yourself. Not for anyone, not for anything, for yourself. All right? So these are wonderful blessings and lessons that we are all receiving from Mama and the angels right now, and definitely, again, it's gonna get crazy. Like we've been feeling it. I've been feeling it. It's some hot stuff. It's coming up from the surface, and it's definitely boiling water. So the quicker you let off the pressure, the quicker you blow out the steam. You cool things down, slow it down, breathe, relax, go sit down for a moment and chill. The quicker you move to decompress yourself, right? The quicker you can balance out, the quicker you can move into harmony, the quicker you can get clarity, which are all the spaces you need to be in to have a clear idea of what to do and how to move forward and just how to manage yourself in your life, right? We got to get into clarity first. We got to be a vibrational match to clarity first. We can't just run through the experience like thinking a million thoughts, pissed off, anxiety, stress, not being centered at all, and then think we're going to get some clear understanding out of that process, right? You're not allowing room for the clarity to come in. And again, a lot of these things are just simple taking a look at yourself, okay? And I know people are very, you're just tired, right? And I feel that in a lot of ways, that people are just tired of dealing with the same crap all the time. And I've been, the person that said that a lot of times, I'm just tired of dealing with the same crap all the time, every day. I said that for years and years and years and years, right? And you know what? I dealt with the same crap all the time. And it was like this self-fulfilling prophecy where we have attached to the problem, we've attached to the dysfunction, the misery, the pain, whatever the fear or the trauma is, and we have made this story for ourselves, telling ourselves this story where somehow this experience can't get away from us. Somehow, with my name tag, this is a match for me every single time, and for whatever reason, nobody else pulls the straw. I'm the one that always gets the short straw. Does that sound familiar to y'all? Right? This is the energy where we keep going back into the pain and suffering, what we're attached to and haven't let go, and we want to play the story out again. That's what's happening, okay? Because you can't let it go, you can't stop telling yourself the story, so you must want to live the story out again, right? That's what you're saying, to God. That's what you're saying to the universe. That's what you're manifesting is, I want to have the storyline again, right? And of course you don't want to. But you don't see how much you are pressed up against it, okay? You're not letting it go. You can't even breathe. Your nose is so pressed against it. You're like, you got to back up, okay? Get a good breather, center yourself, let things go. And this is important too, even if you haven't reached an understanding, even if you haven't reached the clarity of it, people don't want to let it go. They don't want to just, it's like this competitive energy within them. They don't want to lose, right? And so they don't want to drop anything. They don't want to drop the ball. They don't want to drop the subject. They don't want to drop the topic at all. They want to hold on to it the whole time until they feel closure, till they feel a completion of some sort, right? Because they don't trust, so if they let it go, who knows what will happen once I let this go? Who knows what will occur, right? So I must hold on to this. I must figure it out right now, or else I don't know, right? And this is where we have to allow a big idea called holding space, where even if your external environment, your life, is not reflecting to you what your internal world is, right? Even if things aren't going, like if you're doing your intentions, if you're doing your affirmations, you're praying and you're cutting cords and all this shielding, grounding, all these ceremonies, serving love, you're doing it, right? You're in the works. But for whatever reason, there's a lot of issues and things still occurring around you, things still happening, affecting you, right? This is where the master comes into play, and we have to learn how to hold space, where even though the external world is not the reflection of what you're looking for, you can still envisionalize it within your heart, in your third eye. You can see that higher timeline. You can see that higher outcome. You can see the higher in that person, right? And even though it's not right there in front of your face, we're probably seeing a different person right now. That's okay. Even if it's the complete opposite of what you in the higher can see, still hold space. Still, share love. Send love to them from your heart. Like, I love you. I know you're in it right now. I know you're probably triggered. It's all good. I know you'll come out of it. It's not you. It's not who you are, right? Holding space for whatever you are focused on to reach the higher realization and its evolution, right? That goes for people and energies on every energy on this planet, power structures, systems, anything. Dang it. Instagram is a whore. Stop being a whore, Instagram, please. Thank you. I don't know. It like froze or did something. I don't know what is going on with this thing. Well, the camera froze. Okay. One moment, folks. Instagram's being retarded. Okay. Starting over. Anyways, I'll deal with you later. Where was I at, Angels? So, yes. So, even when things in your external reality, what's going on in your life, your experience, isn't reflecting what you are, what the energy you're pushing, hold space. Because a lot of times, and this is a good idea with, let's see, there was a crystal I like. Yeah, let's just use this big one, okay? So, the main point of this lesson I'm sharing with you. So, crystals, powerful, energetic masters, okay? Crystals have a very specific frequency, and they never change their frequency. It remains the same vibration, okay? So, meaning us human beings who have literally thoughts every second. And with any thought, your emotions and your mood can shift in a second, right? Meaning your frequency can shift in a second. Crystals don't do that. Crystals teach us how to hold a vibration and actually maintain that. Anchor that in to where that's not changing every second. And you're like a heartbeat on the the monitor at the hospital. You're just like going up and down, up and down, up and down. There's no balance, right? There's no solid anchoring of a still frequency, to be able to hone in on that. That's what crystals teach us, to sit with a specific frequency, a certain vibration, and just to feel that and work with that one vibration the whole time, right? Because we're not used to that. We send ourselves all over the chart of energetic frequencies just with every thought, attachments, externalization, all kinds of things that we're doing, stimulating ourselves. We're energetically moving in all those directions. We're quite spread out. It's like having a little bit of butter and like you got to scrape it across this big old piece of toast and it's not enough butter, right? Whew, it's rough. Scraped, spread too thin across the board. And where we gotta learn how to, yes, sit with ourselves, of course, but to work with our energy. And where holding space, where this concept comes in, holding space for things, is a lot of ways what crystals, crystals show us. Crystals, show us how to hold space for a vibration, a frequency, to focus and center yourself on the vibration and just be in that energy, right? Consistently. You're doing a lot of the same thing. You're applying the same concepts. It's a little bit in a different way when you're holding space for people or whatever you're holding space for, right? Even though you don't see it, you still have the vision within you. You can still visualize it within your heart, and you can hold space by your choice, by choosing that higher timeline through your choice. And therefore, you can just sit in that vibration, right? Hold that person, that vibration, hold the idea in that vibration, in that higher timeline. Same way that crystals teach you to hold a vibration. Be steady with it, anchor that in. Not letting yourself just ride all over the place, right? If that was the same thing you were doing for holding space for people, it'd be like, hold space for a second, then drop it. Hold space for a second, then drop it. That's what we would be doing if we were allowing ourselves just to do what we do with our emotions and thoughts every day, right? So it's like a meditation, a meditation in a lot of different ways, but you don't have to sit there with your eyes closed. You don't have to sit there and, do the prayer pose or anything. You can move throughout your day, work, talk to people, interact with people, and still hold space for people. When you see them, hold them in your heart in the highest regard. See the higher in them, see the love in them, see the brilliance of mom in each one of them, or what people are trying to do, right? And even what they're doing may not look good on the surface to people who just attach to what they see, but their intentions are pure. They're trying to understand. They're trying to learn, and maybe they haven't had this all the the best support in a lot of ways. And this is where I feel a lot of people are in the world too. There's a lot of people that they don't give up. They just don't know, but they don't trust anyone either. So this leaves them left to their own opinions, their own judgments, their own way of understanding. That's it. They have isolated themselves into just seeing the world through their own eyes and not having any other perspective to broaden that idea, broaden that lens, so they can see more in life, see more in themselves, maybe even receive from other people more perspective about themselves that maybe they haven't been able to see, or they never uncovered, or they've never accepted for themselves. But the fact that someone else can see it and say it, now they feel like they can give themselves permission now to step into that, because they were afraid to claim that for themselves. They weren't confident. You see, people are spread all over the place. They're not just in one mode, one mood, one emotion, or just one thing that they're fucked up on. It's a mass spider web of different things going on, which is why it requires a lot of compassion, requires a lot of patience. God levels of patience, okay? Has nothing to do with, well, I have this. No, you got to always work on patience. It's a never-ending journey with that one, okay? Layer after layer after layer, you will have to learn to breathe deeper than you did before. Let it go, have patience, see the higher perspective, hold space, and just keep moving and grooving, right? You can't just suddenly see something you don't like and then throw in the towel and sit down on the sidewalk and like, well, I'm not going anymore. I'm not doing it. It's like, okay, you can stay there if you want. The water's going to keep rising. You're going to be up to your neck. You might be drowning. But if you want the pressure, choose that, please. For the rest of us that love ourselves enough and have been through enough pain and suffering, we're gonna get a move on. We're gonna speed it up, okay? Because we don't have to suffer anymore. And as the gentleman said in the video too, nothing can stop this timeline for coming into place. Okay, it is set. It is inevitable. We will reach the event. This is completely within our trajectory of our lifetime, this incarnation, where everyone on this planet physically is right now. This is happening now. This is occurring in this timeline. Not next generation, not your grandchildren, not your great-grandchildren. I'm talking about right now, okay? So this experience of what we got to go through in between this point of whatever the event is, whatever the highest timeline is, and when that occurs, who knows? And where we are right now, the middle, that's where all the journey is. That's where all the experience, the travel, the triggers, and everything is fully mapped out for you, right? Nothing is going to stop this timeline from happening. However, it's not going to just happen for you either. And this is where humanity has to constantly get the nudge to step up and make a choice, because of course we're not going to be delayed. No one can take the timeline away from us. God has given that to us. It's decreed. Period. God is one. Period. However, the experience in our evolution and moving higher into 5D, that's not going to just trickle down and shower us like rain and we're just going to be there one day. No, it requires choice, conscious awareness, getting you off your butt and moving your ass to make a difference. Because if you want a new earth, if you want 5D on this planet for everyone to be happy, what are you doing to contribute and participate in that? This planet is not a planet for squatters. Okay? Did that ring a bell? Did that wake somebody up? We're not on this planet squatting. You are owed nothing on this planet. You are entitled to nothing on this planet, resource-wise. Everything is a co-creation. It's a participation of every living sovereign being on this planet. Everything with a soul, with life force flowing through it. Nothing is exempt and nothing is separate. It's all connected and it's all one. No one is higher than the other. No one's better than the other. Everyone is one. Okay? So this experience and what's going on right now, it is compressing humanity further in. Where I shared before, where as we move into this canal, I've shared probably like a month or so ago, I was talking about this energetic canal we are moving into. And I feel we are pretty much at the, we're pretty much well into the canal choke, channel right now. And where I gave the perspective that everything you pushed outside of yourself in externalization, as we move this experience through the canal, through this tube, of course, everything has to squeeze through the tube, which means things are going to get tighter in here. okay? Which means it's going to squeeze everything that we got so used to and comfortable being so far away from us. Now those things are coming straight in hot and fast, and we're not ready for it because our belief system, our control, our delusion is attached to thinking that we have some type of say, that we control this, that we decide what happens, and we don't. Okay? We've already made the choice. We're living the experience out now. It's too late to make a different choice. You're already here. So, this is definitely going to compress and squeeze more of humanity's experience in on themselves, and to where we will have the very humbling experience of coming face to face with your true self and everything you've been hiding from yourself, everything you've been denying and lying to yourself and everyone else about. You now have the joy of looking this in the face and making a choice now. Are you ready for this to die? You ready to let it go? You ready to kill this bitch off so we can move on to something else, right? New party guests. Let's get the party going, celebration, get the lights on in here. It's really dusty. Let's clean some stuff up. What are you doing, right? We're not here to sit in crap, humanity. We're not here to be helpless. We're not here to fall apart and be dramatic and just complain about everything. We're not here for that, okay? It didn't get the attention you wanted as a child, so it's definitely not going to work now with God. She's not playing the game with you, all right? We got to get our balls. And we have balls. We have a spine. We have divinity. We're powerful. We're children of God. You just got to tell yourself that and quit playing this smaller than unvaluable little, the ego. Everything the ego constructs. You are nothing less than God. You are part of God, period. So where we start restoring the respect, the honor, the value in these things, are in the principles, in the discipline, all of this. When you start putting more energy back into, when you start valuing these things more, they mean more to you, which they empower you more to do more. You say, well, I respect myself. Well, how much do you respect yourself? Ding. Have you worked on your self-respect? Have you built that up? Have you expanded what your self-respect is to you? Have you grown that more, right? Every single thing within ourselves that we have gotten to, it can go further. We can keep growing. We can keep mastering. The journey never stops. When you get comfortable, when you think you've arrived somewhere and this is it for you, or you've gotten everything that you need to do, or this is enough, red tape across the board, caution, error, sirens going off everywhere. You got to keep moving. You never want to stop and say like, oh, I'm there. I made it. I've ascended. I'm like 8D, yo. Like, I've already made it. Like, y'all need to hurry up. Like, the moment you get to anywhere near that zone, you better back up fast, okay? That is fantasy land like you wouldn't believe. And so many people get caught into that because they think too much in delusions of grandeur, what they would like to be, what they would like the experience to be, what they would like to have. But they are not making the physical actions, the choices to manifest those things. So they're just always in delusion. They're always in thoughts and just fantasy machinations, thinking about these things and thinking that that's their life, thinking that they're going to have that life, when the whole time for years, they haven't made a single move, a single choice to even manifest in that direction. So it's a waste of time. It's a distraction. It's the aloofness, a way the ego hijacks you and uses all that energy up for long periods of time, draining you and exhausting you. And by the time you get to the point where you're expecting something to happen, it doesn't happen. Right? You didn't put the energy to good use. You didn't flow with it. You didn't put in alignment. You didn't focus at all. No. The original intention is where it all truly starts. Okay? What are you intending in any situation? You're going to do a ceremony? What's the intention of the ceremony? You're going to go for a walk? What's the intention of going for a walk? You're going to eat dinner? What's the intention of eating dinner? Right? If it's because I'm supposed to, if it's because I should, it's 8 o'clock, I should do that. Well, who told you it's supposed to happen at 8 o'clock? You should do that like 2 hours ago. Maybe you can do it another hour. Like, why does it have to be this same plain Jane thing every day, the same way, without changing? Right? You are allowed the ability to be organic. It's your birthright. Meaning, being organic, there's no one way or right way to do anything. however it reaches that destination, if it happens, it's a way now, right? But it's all organic. No one's sitting there telling you that it has to follow by these bullet points and these requirements must be reached before you are said to be successful. No one's saying that at all. That's the ego trying to, sit there and, analyze and put all these things in a system and rules and policies and regulations and what you have to do, what you cannot do, and it has to be like this. No, it's crap. All of it. It's all bullshit. And letting this go, getting ourselves to a clean, open, free space where we can breathe and allow ourselves just to be ourselves is so important in these moments, because you got to understand who you are. If the you that is you is changing and it is shedding so many different layers of what you thought you have been, if you are not paying attention to what is occurring, to what is stripping away from you and allowing something else to come in, you are missing so many parts of your growth. And this is adding more confusion and more disappointment in your experience, because now you're left with more questions. You have experiences you can't relate to now or resonate with within your being, because you're still focused on what's going on outside of you instead of what's inside. When you give this more importance, this will get louder to you. When you focus on this more, it will get brighter to you. It will become more perceivable to you in your experience, right? You'll feel it, you'll sense it, you can everywhere in your body. It's another arm for you. It's part of you. And the more meaning you give this, the more trust you work in with this, the greater this ability can become. Okay? So we are definitely over the hour mark. So I love you all. Looks like Instagram didn't make it through the portal with us. Instagram's kind of being faulty right now. So, hey, we got a lot of comments today. This is the first time I've ever looked at this. And I'm literally scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I see lots of comments. So I am a happy person right now. So thank you, Facebook, for stopping the horror. So we have, who do we have? We got Asher Lynn. We got Jenna Floyd. Got Claudia, Marcel, Jordan Love. Who else do we got on here? We got Camille Valdez. And she says, no one can stop our ascension to the fifth dimension, ever. You are correct, love. We got Michelle Keene on here. It's time to dissolve the ego. Got Casey Jade on here. Let's see. Got Sarah. Got Bobby. And I feel we got more people. Yay, more people. So we got Dina on here. We have Nelly. Wow, I've never seen all you people on here before. This is so exciting. We have comments today, people. We got Reen on here. Let's see. And okay. So there was another comment I wanted to read on here real fast. I love all of you beautiful people. And yes, Roxy shared that gratitude is the best form of prayer. Absolutely. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations. So it definitely will help you, it assists. We look at frequencies, you have, love, joy, gratitude, and it's just like a spectrum, basically. And gratitude is one of the highest frequencies you can access. And so utilizing and staying in a perspective of gratitude, what you're grateful for, that helps you access one of the highest levels of energy and consciousness. And working with that energy amplifies everything. Gratitude, being grateful, creates more abundance. It amplifies literally everything, radiating it with more love and light and abundance, okay? So, but that's also why gratitude is so hard for people to get to, because they're spiteful, they're jealous, they're envious, they're upset, triggered, attached. There's so many frequencies in the way of people feeling what gratitude feels like, or even working with gratitude, right? And that's the frequency you want to be in, because that's what's going to be manifesting all the higher experiences into your life through gratitude. That's what helps the healing. That's what helps the release and the change and the expansion, is being grateful for where you are and what you have already received. And being grateful for that allows more to come in and expand further. But you got to be in that space already to work with that energy to allow that process to take place. Let's see. Yep, Roxy said, stay in your heart. That's the only way through this ascension. Absolutely. Roxy said, oh my God, that chicken song you used to play at Desolation, Georgia. Yeah, I love that song. It was, I was definitely a Nazi. I was definitely an energetic Nazi on mission for quite a moment. And I definitely didn't approach matters the most loving, kind, gentle way. I had to learn a lot with being compassionate and softer with my brothers and sisters, and just how I express myself and my triggers and my attachments and things. And so, that was one of my my many choices I made on mission, where it definitely to get the team up, and move in the morning. I know it nobody. I don't feel there's really anybody who well, that's a lie. Angel said there is people. So yeah, Mom liked to get up, but I don't know if there's any. I don't know any people that are just they jump out of bed. They're like, oh my gosh, it's morning. We're still here. It's I was like, are we still here? Damn it, we're still here. So, but definitely that was it was a big disco. It was a chicken music video on YouTube, and it was this big old disco room with the disco lights, different colors and everything down across the floor and the ceiling, and it had this chicken, this rooster. And he came on, and he was I forgot what the tune to it is, but it was this very high pitched uppity EDM song. It was it was booming. Yeah, you put that on the speakers, on the Bluetooth speakers, and turn it up. Oh my gosh, it will get everybody up in the morning. Okay, I'll tell you right now, if you have trouble getting children out of bed, if you have trouble waking your husband or your wife up, and they're not wanting to get out of bed, they want to be an ego, the chicken song is the perfect remedy. I am telling you right now, you put that song on repeat, put it on full blast, everybody in the house will be up and moving, and they just, it's just a chicken, it's just talking on the song, on the disco song, but at the same time it's so annoying in your ears, and it's just constant, right? So yeah, I made some friends by playing that music video. What, Mary? So yeah, it definitely made some lovely friends doing that. But yeah, it was a funny music video. It definitely was inspiring for me in moments where I could just release my triggers. Michelle Keene said, our body's chemistry is evolving too. Unfortunately, present medical is lagging. We've always had the knowledge to heal. Absolutely. The body is organic. The body has full capability of coming back online, activating itself, and healing. Of course, there's been a lot of anomalies to that have happened in human history. So with different things with the body during surgeries, I know there's been organs taken out, there's been things put into the body, heart monitors, pacer things, different plates, metal plates, screws, and all kinds of different things, bars down people's spines, all kinds of things have been put and taken out of the human body. With what the body is organically, the natural state of the body can work with, right? And so I don't know shit. So maybe for the people who have plates, in their body, or screws, different metal things that the body obviously cannot break down and dematerialize inside the body and push out, solid metal and things like that. Those may have to be, remedied a different way, and that's probably why we have, the med beds, and those are, those are close. Those are coming out soon. And that might be one of the, the things the med beds are used for, is removing the different metal plates, screws, and just different things inside people's bodies that are just not organic. They're not part of the natural body, and they were put there. Let's see. Oh, that gain is a little bit up. Sorry if it sounds like I'm yelling in this mic. I didn't realize the thing was turned all the way up. Sarah's like, wake up call, wake up triggered. Wake up with love. Yeah, Bobby said yes, tired in these moments. Tests incoming. Yes, they are coming in hot. Okay, and especially if you are feeling tired. Okay, definitely will express this to y'all. It's a healthy balance. Okay, if you feel tired, definitely rest. Allow yourself to, even if you feel like you're getting more sleep than you usually allow yourself. Maybe your body just needs it. But if that becomes a repetitive thing where you just are in bed 24/7 all the time, you say you're tired, now it's become an escape and more of an excuse just to be there, right? So you definitely listen to your body and allow your body, feel what's highest for you, but also watch out for your ego because it will use any opportunity to like really milk it and like pull you off track of where you're supposed to be at. Totally like focus on the wrong thing. Dun, 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 dun. My response to the song. Michelle said surrender. Yeah. Michelle said, I'm noticing even animals are even experiencing massive division as well. Interesting. What do you mean by massive division? Animals. Not sure what you fully mean with that. She said they are ancient masters. Oh, I'm George. Someone's like, who's talking right now? I was like, I'm George. Oh, I don't have the name. There you go. We have the name now. I'm George. Hi. Nice to meet you people. Love you all. Let's see. All right. That looks to be about all the comments. I'm going to check Telegram. Make sure we have no questions real quick. Let's see. I'm not even gonna touch that screen. I was gonna do it on this phone, but that's the one it's recording on, and like I've already had the whole thing with Instagram today, so I'm not even gonna play with Telegram right now. You just please keep working. Let's see. Here we go. And let's about. Oh wow! I didn't even know this many comments in here. All right, we'll be here for a moment. Yay! Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. I'm just gonna scroll through some comments and look for any questions or anything like that. Is ego even a thing anymore? I'm pretty sure it was probably sarcastic, but I'll answer it anyways, and yes, it is. Ego is very much a thing still. It is the one thing that we are tasked with dissolving. It's the only big thing we have to really focus on is our own ego and kicking that bitch's butt. But then also the truth is it's not about the ego either. It's about divinity, love, us co-creating together, creating a new reality, a higher, better timeline and experience for ourselves through love and support, compassion and nurturing. So, I mean, yes, the ego is a thing, but it's very quickly fading out of existence. And at the same time, we also have to focus that, yes, even though the ego is a part of this journey right now, we're also focusing on a higher timeline where the ego is not going to be a part of. So we also have to learn how to behave, how to be human, how to be ourself in a loving, truly divine way that's not with ego. Because that's truly the world we want to build and create and move into. There's a lot of cleaning up that has to occur within us to make sure that we are a vibrational match. Our consciousness is a match to the reality that we are asking God for. Meaning the lessons we are receiving now are everything that we need to focus on and reflect and transform so that our vibration does become a match to 5D and we can move there, right? So moving forward, yeah, she was just laughing about the ego. Don't really see any other questions. I have no idea who Boris is. So I can't answer that question for you, Boris. I don't know. He looks very creepy. He looks like a snake. If that's who that person is in that picture that I just saw right there, he literally looks like a freaking cobra snake. That's really creepy. And I'm pretty sure I see a slit in his eye. So yeah, I'm looking at for everyone who can't see that, I'm looking on Telegram, one of the comments, and they had a picture of some guy on there, and they said Boris something underneath. So I don't know if that's what his name is, but literally you can see in like his left eye. On the right side, it's a normal human eye, but on the left side, you can see in this picture that literally it's a slit. It's like a fine black slit going down where there should be a circle pupil. So that's like creepy. The draconians, the snakies, they're hiding in human bodies. They're real. So that looks about to be all the comments and questions. So we're going to go ahead and close. I love you all. Y'all are rock stars, okay? I know the streams can get pretty intense. They can get have a lot of tough love. Mom comes through quite often and just make sure that everyone gets the points that they need to hear. You get the codes so you can integrate and you can move through your process. It's pointless to sit on here and listen to a whole hour of live stream if everything that's being said is going in one ear, not the other. You're not interfacing with any of it, right? So and a lot of times it does have to come through and sometimes very blunt and direct, but those are the moments where we're listening the most. And we can get the codes, we can get the golden eggs, the nuggets, and we're like, yes, all right, I'm going to apply this, put it into action, and we're going to make miracles happen with God. Co-creation, right? So everybody, I love you. Be grounded, drink lots of water, ceremonies, do what you need to do to stay stable and focus on yourself. Get that paper out, write it down, or find that talking buddy, the one that doesn't think you're crazy all the time with the things you say, and just start talking. Express, say it out loud. Express. Hey, I really need to get this off my chest, and there's nobody else I can really share this with. Can you hold space for me? Can you just not judge me and just listen? That's all I really need right now. And a lot of people, if they're really real and they're honestly, they're your friend or they want to support you, a lot of people won't have trouble with that. They'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll listen. Whatever you got to say. And that's healing. That's a lot of release that people don't allow themselves space and time for, but also they don't feel like they are being allowed by other people that space to release and to decompress and express either. Meaning they're just going to bottleneck it up, choking inside until they combust and explode and snap. Probably over the smallest, teensy little bit of thing that just happened. And then all that energy that's just been pent up inside comes completely busting out, right? And those are messes we don't really want to make anymore. We don't want to manifest situations like that or just, big cleanup messes that it's unnecessary. It's not fun to clean those up, so we can just get a handle on ourselves. And even though everything flying by us on both sides is really, really fast, it's loud, it's intimidating sometimes, and it's kind of getting you on your tippy toes, breathe. Let it go. And allow yourself to be calm, centered. Cut cords, return all energy to center, reconnect all cords back to only what is true, whole, pure, real. Highest timeline, love everywhere present to starships and ascension, twin flame energies to Mother God's heart, my higher self. Thank you, angels, now and immediately and organically. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. And state that with confidence and put that out there. And allow that energy to, manifest in your experience, right? You are all worthy of it. God has got it. Everyone just let go. Trust Mom. Remember prayers. Prayers are for gratitude. Prayers are for expansion, for growth, and for, sending love to others and to all of creation. Praying for a new earth, praying for the highest timeline, for all of humanity, praying for 5D energies to keep pouring onto this planet, praying for humanity to wake up, praying for humanity's consciousness to keep expanding so we can all get there. This is what you need to choose to use your prayers for. Not need to. Thank you, angels, for correcting me. Not need to use your prayers. This is the highest way to use your prayers in to allow the biggest change to happen. Okay? If you choose to approach up the lower vibration, you choose to use your prayer time with God to complain and bitch and moan about what things in your life are messed up, what you don't like, or what's going wrong, flip it, right? No longer focus on those things. Put the prayer into love. Put the prayer into gratitude. Where you are right now, what you have already received from mom and creation and angels, what you have to work with, and being grateful that you're even there at that point, that you've come this far. Being grateful for that, which will allow an expansion and a launching pad for you to reach larger grandness that you will also be able to be grateful for at that point, because you've mastered the gratitude at this point. Okay? I love you all. Take care of yourselves. We will see you all tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Mountain Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time with on live stream with Buddha and Jeri. I will be. We should actually. I don't know. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do a live podcast tonight. That'll probably be around 1 a.m. somewhere around that time. I'll keep you guys updated. I'll post in Telegram for the podcast. If I don't see you there, we'll be on live stream in the morning, and then Roadside Nuggets again tomorrow afternoon at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so lots of access to information, lots of opportunities to just fill yourself with love. Right? Higher awareness and codes and frequencies, and just keep grooving on the highest vibration you can be in. And whatever life you have, wherever you are on this planet, do your best just to create a higher vibrational space around you, and you'll benefit from that. And you'll be grateful and respect yourself a lot more for doing that for you. Okay? Take care, everybody. We will be back tomorrow.